Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Lang, and welcome to the first ever NPRC live Facebook broadcast to introduce you today to Northern Pennsylvania Regional College. We have a lot of people to talk to this afternoon. We're going to start with the president here in just a moment, but it is a different time. I think we can all agree. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Maybe we might have Americans back in space this afternoon at 3:22 if the weather cooperates, and we're all looking to the future and what the new normal is going to be. So ironically, Northern Pennsylvania Regional College really fits into all of what we're dealing with right now. And I think once we get into our broadcast, you'll understand. So as I said, we have a lot of people to introduce you to this afternoon, but we always start with the person at top, and that would be the president this afternoon, and that is Dr. Joseph Nairn. He is joining us remotely from his office in Warren, PA. So Dr. Nairn, first of all, welcome, and how are you doing during the pandemic?
Well, I think I'm doing as well as most of us are. We've managed to continue operations during this. Our folks have been great at working remotely, and our first concern is that everyone stays safe and healthy, and we seem to be achieving that. So thank you.
It is interesting how probably you guys were in the best position to deal with this pandemic because you are part internet, you're part bricks and mortar, but everyone had to switch to this new normal of teaching, but you guys were kind of already there. So first of all, let's back up a minute. Tell me about NPRC, number one, and then let's talk about how you guys are dealing with the new normal. Let's start with NPRC, though. Give us the background.
Sure. The college is really the product of some community efforts from some leaders within the 9-county area. We serve a very large service area, 9 counties in northwestern Pennsylvania. They recognized that many of the counties, particularly the ones that are mostly rural, didn't have the resources to put together a community college of their own. And so the legislation was developed to have an alternative model. And the Educational Consortium of the Upper Allegheny is really the rootstock from which the college has grown. And that group identified that there were other ways to deliver education, high quality education to a dispersed audience across a broad geographic footprint. And so we've been using technology from the outset, using real-time instruction to deliver classes to sites. Our ideal model is to have students travel not a long distance. If you look at a map of our sites, we're within about 15 miles of virtually everyone in that 9-county area. We have a site where someone could travel and study. As you mentioned, this is a unique time. We pivoted when the COVID outbreak occurred, and we've gone remote. But the great thing for us is our faculty were already oriented to that. I've spent 40 years in higher education, and my colleagues are all experienced higher ed professionals. They know the challenges that faculty at other institutions faced trying to take their classrooms virtual when they really weren't prepared for it. As you said, we've been doing this and doing it successfully for quite some time now. So it was we were kind of built for this. It's not anything that we expected, but we've been able to pivot, as I said, and deliver our instruction without any disruption of continuity. It meant that we had to get some resources to our students. We've done that, and our students are continuing to succeed.
And as we get back to the new normal, again, I mentioned you're a bricks and mortar college, you're an internet college, but you really are equipped for this crisis with the internet-based learning. What do you see the future for NPRC once the new normal kind of kicks in?
We'll continue in the model that we have. We're working right now to develop sites for our hands-on lab-based experiences. A lot of the classes don't require anything other than classrooms. So we're able to teach people in real time, have groups come together, obviously not right now, but we will return to our site-based model, which imposes the discipline of meeting a class. I think when many people think about internet-based or online colleges, there's a negative connotation because and I hate to be using jargon, but the asynchronous nature of that, the fact that it's not in real time, has an outcome, a negative outcome very often on student success. The fact that our students are meeting in real time, they are coming together in groups to do projects, to work together. They have to meet their instructor. They're going to a class at a given time and turning their assignments in. They're doing their work as though they were in a regular classroom. So yes, we're site-based in that regard, but we're using technology to deliver across a broader footprint. The future for us will involve identification of some laboratory sites where students might have to travel a longer distance, but we'll make sure that those facilities are outfitted with the necessary technology, lab equipment, the sorts of things that they would need to complete those courses successfully.
And we have a lot of people that we're going to meet this afternoon that'll help further explain that. So Dr. Nairn, thank you very much. Don't go away, because you begin the broadcast and you get the privilege of ending the broadcast this afternoon. So stick around, hang out in Warren, and we're going to talk to a lot of your colleagues here this afternoon. So thank you again, President Nairn, for joining us here. We're going to switch right now. We're joined remotely also by Rick W. Smith Sr. Now, Rick serves as the Interim Vice President of Advancement and Community Engagement at NPRC. Does that all fit on a business card, Rick?
Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge, but we have some really skilled people, skilled graphic designers that make it work.
That's awesome. So tell me, that long title, what does it mean as your part in NPRC?
Sure. When people ask me, what is it that we do in marketing and public relations and advancement, I frequently say, we have one of the best jobs out there because we get to tell the public about all the wonderful things that occur at the college. So as President Nairn was talking about us being innovative, new, utilizing technology, so it's a really exciting thing to be able to share that with the public. So just kind of here of late, you'll start to see more television commercials, more advertisements about the college, because as the college grows, we want to make sure that everyone is aware that we're here serving our 9-county service area. So we've got a great job to share through traditional media. So that's, outdoor boards and radio and television, things of that nature, but also through new media, through social media. So similar to what we're doing here through our Facebook, through our Twitter, through our LinkedIn, to our different social media accounts, and certainly our website.
Yeah.
So we like to drive a lot of traffic to our website. One real exciting thing, Joe, that we've got that we just recently launched, we have this new artificial intelligence chatbot on our website. So if you go to our website, you'll be able to have an interactive conversation with the AI that we call Riley. So Riley is our chatbot, answers questions about NPRC, but the neat thing about that, at any time you want to speak to a real person, you can say, hey, I'd like to speak to a person. We'll have a real person follow back up with you.
It's AI is certainly the way of the future, right? So you guys are on the future of education, and you're on the future of bots as well. So let's talk about community colleges, though, for a minute. I mean, a lot of stuff in the news about community colleges lately in Erie. Tell us about NPRC and the community college. What's the message there for people that are watching today?
Well, I think a lot of people bring us into the discussion about, even the community college in Erie, and when asked about that, I'll frequently say that that's not a fight that is our fight. I think that what we do is focus on what NPRC can bring to our 9-county service area. So if asked, does Erie or any of our 9-county service area, do they deserve to have access to higher education? Absolutely, yes. Do they deserve access to a 2-year degree, a path to education? Certainly. Workforce development training? Absolutely. I think that what we want people to understand is we already have it. We have it not only in Erie, but we have it in our entire 9-county service areas. So that's Elk and Erie and Cameron and Crawford and Warren, Venango, McKean, Potter, and Forest. So we, as the president said, we have a wide footprint. So we're providing these services already, and we certainly have capacity to continue that outreach to the community.
And that's one of the things that I learned too when we were doing the kind of the dress rehearsal here, and we were talking about a different part of NPRC. I had no idea the footprint was that big. I mean, you guys cover a lot of ground, so that's phenomenal, and you're providing a service that is very much needed. So, and speaking of services, we're going to talk about another side of NPRC here. We're going to switch. So thank you very much for your input this afternoon. Rick W. Smith, thank you very much. We're going to switch here in a minute to someone else at NPRC. But if you have questions during our broadcast, please email us the questions to the address on your screen right now, or you can put them in the chat area on Facebook right now, because this is new. NPRC is new. This concept is new, but it's very much needed, and you might have a lot of questions that we don't know about. So please, during the broadcast, email us your questions or put them in the Facebook Live chat area, and we will get to those questions, I promise, at the end of our broadcast. And maybe if we don't, the bot will. So, okay, like I said, we have a ton of people to introduce you to this afternoon. The next is Dr. Eldo Jackson. Now, he serves as the Executive Director of Erie Operations and Workforce Development at NPRC. So, Dr. Jackson, welcome first to you. This is probably one of the most exciting areas for me at NPRC, though, because you offer certification programs. Some people can graduate from NPRC with a degree, or they can come to your department and get certified for different skills that are really lacking right now. I mean, we read about it every day in the news. So Dr. Eldo, tell us about your department. I think this is really exciting.
That's a great summary, Joe. Really what the Workforce Development Division does for the college is try to bring together business and industry with people that are underemployed or unemployed, or maybe they're looking to upgrade their skills. There are so many jobs in our economy that do not require a degree, be it 2-year or 4-year. Many of those jobs, most of those jobs are, pay a family sustaining wage, and they're very meaningful work. And that's the kind of programming that the Workforce Development has put together. We have nearly 70 classes in 11 occupational areas. And if you don't mind, I'll just kind of go through those real quickly. We have training in child development, commercial driver's license, communication line work, emergency medical services, industrial maintenance, medical and health occupations, precision machining, powder metals, supervision, leadership and quality services, tourism and hospitality management, and wastewater treatment. So those 70 classes provide some great opportunities for people to upgrade their skills if they're already in a job, or it allows people to acquire new skills where they can enter the workforce. Our classes range anywhere from 20 hours to a program in communication line work that's 300 hours. So what that means is people can very quickly get trained and get back into or get into the workforce.
And let's talk about that for a second, Dr. Jackson, because
Sure.
All of those fields that you mentioned, if you drive around anywhere in the footprint of NPRC, you'll see help wanted signs at all of the individuals that you mentioned. I mean, if you look at the hospitals right now, they are desperate for help. Every day I drive down 12th Street and you look machinist wanted, or the hotel restaurant industry begging for people to come work for them. If someone is interested in doing those jobs, how do they get in touch with you?
We've got a wonderful website that gives information about all the classes we offer. Anyone is welcome to also call the college, and we'll get them hooked up with a workforce development specialist who can advise them on what training program might be best for them.
And I want people to understand, and you're the expert here, Dr. Jackson. I want people to understand, I read every day in the news how much in demand these positions are. I mean, I have, in my line of work, I deal with people all day long who say they can't hire people in those professions. I mean, there's money, there's jobs, and there's work there if people want it, but it starts with you, correct?
And that's one of the things that we really try to focus on as we develop our programs, is making sure that there's demand and opportunity out there. So if there's lots of jobs, there's going to be training from NPRC to fill those needs.
All right, thank you again, Dr. Jackson. I think that is one of the most exciting parts of NPRC, because there's such a demand in the workforce for the people that you train and supervise and get certified to do those jobs. So thank you very much, Dr. Jackson. It was a pleasure meeting you this afternoon. And again, please, if you have questions as we're going along here, anything that Dr. Jackson said or Mr. Smith or anyone else, please email us or go into the chat section of Facebook Live, and we will get to those questions at the end of the broadcast, because this is all new to you, it's all new to me, and I think there's an amazing opportunity here through NPRC. And if you don't ask the questions, you'll never find out what that is. And speaking of opportunities, so we're in the studio here at WQLN for our Facebook Live, and we are socially distancing with two guests this afternoon, and they are Dr. Linda Fleming and Miss Jennifer Cummings-Tutmeyer. She didn't think I could say her name, all three, so I'm just going to call you Linda and Jennifer, if that's okay. So welcome to our first ever Facebook Live for NPRC.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you guys. Linda, we're going to start with you. Dr. Fleming is a highly regarded leader in post-secondary education. She's one of the college leaders serving as the Vice President of Academic Affairs and Student Affairs. And Ms. Cummings is another leader in the industry, has a very important job in the life of the college, serves as the Director of Enrollment of Student Services. So we're going to get to you here in a minute, Jennifer. But Linda, let's start with you, Dr. Fleming, Linda Fleming. Let's start with you. Tell us about what the VP of Academic Affairs and Student Affairs does at NPRC.
Right. So I guess my biggest responsibility is creating a vision for all of our educational programming, ensuring the quality of that programming, and then making sure that those services meet the needs of our students and the community. So let me talk a little bit more about the quality programming. We have excellent faculty. Our faculty have to meet certain educational backgrounds, and they have to have certain work experience in order to work for us. And then we also offer some significant ongoing professional development to make sure that our instructors are offering the best type of instruction possible. We also have an excellent curriculum. Many of our workforce development programs have had to be authorized by the state before we can offer them, and our academic curriculum is being prepared to meet regional accreditation standards, so that our curriculum should be looking like the curriculum of any other institution around the Erie and our 9-county region.
Well, when you're developing those plans, I know there's a lot of programs that you offer at NPRC. So who should be interested in NPRC? All of these different programs, who should be interested in the classes that you offer? Because you are part of the 2-year degree process. So someone who comes to you is going to leave NPRC with a 2-year associate degree. Who should that be?
Right. So NPRC we provide all of the services that a community college would do traditionally. So we would serve any student with a high school diploma or a GED, students who are graduating right from high school or just finishing their GED, and we also serve people who are returning to the workforce. So as we know, in the middle of this pandemic, we have a number of people who have been out of work, who are now on unemployment, who will need to be going back to the workforce in the future. And the NPRC would offer a number of different options for them in that future.
And that's exactly what I thought of when you were talking. I mean, we are in such an odd situation right now where people have been furloughed, they've been laid off. They may not have jobs to go back to. So if they're thinking it's time for a change, probably a good idea to get in touch with you guys, correct?
Absolutely.
And then they can see everything that you offer online. Again, and again, if the job that you had isn't the job that you want going back, this might be a good time for reflection for a lot of people too, to think, I didn't like doing that. I want to do something else. Again, a really good opportunity. And financial aid is available, correct?
Yes, we do have financial aid available, and for many of our programs, there's external aid available. So for people who are reorganizing their work lives, there's funding available through OVR, through CareerLink. Sometimes employers are offering funding for people who have been unemployed. We
can talk about this all day long, but I think it's better to show people what an actual class might look like at NPRC. So tell us what we're going to see. This is actually what happens when you become an NPR student. Tell people what they're going to see on this video.
Yeah, I totally agree. Seeing is believing. So what you're going to see is one of our early childhood education faculty members. She's been with the college for about a year now, and she offers some very interesting courses. She's going to be teaching our students about how to teach first grade science. And the technique that she's going to be using in this instruction is a role play. So you will see her acting out the role of a first grade teacher, and her students are acting the role of the first grade students.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Let's see the video.
All right, everybody, we are continuing our discussions that we've been having in class about children's science learning and how for children to actually learn science concepts and have a really concrete understanding of them, we have to give them opportunities to experience it, explore it with their senses, and then to make sure that learning sticks, we've been talking about the importance of recording science learning. So we have some chocolate chip cookie dough, and I want you to, one of the vocabulary words that we've been working on is properties, and how properties are anything you can observe. So I want you to, and I'm going to take a scoop of cookie dough and put it in my hand. Don't worry, nobody's going to eat the dough that's in my hand. This is a scoop of cookie dough. Tell me some of the properties that you can observe in the dough through your screen.
Sticky.
Sticky is definitely a good word, because if you see, I can up with my finger. What else?
Mushy.
Mushy.
Squishy.
Squishy is a good word.
Soft.
It is very soft. What do you think about this texture?
Probably lumpy because of the chips.
Yeah, and so with children, we can introduce, even though we would be doing this lesson with first grade students, remember, we can use big words with little people, and a word for this kind of mixture is heterogeneous. Because we're doing a lot of measurements, why do you think it's important that I'm using the same scooper for all of my cookies instead of just making little balls?
So they're all the same size.
Right, because scientists use consistency, and we want to remind that with children. Good science is replicable. That means that we can do the same experiment over and over again and get pretty consistent results. So a hypothesis is an idea you can test. Make a hypothesis for me about what's happening in my oven.
These are expanding.
So, Dr. Linda,
Okay,
tell us what we're seeing here. I see there are a bunch of people on the screen along with the instructor. When you're enrolled in a class, how many people typically would be in that class?
Right now, we cap our classes at 18 for when we're on remote delivery, as we are during COVID. During our regular academic year, when we are using our instructional sites, our courses are capped at about 20 to 25, and then we'll have students at up to 8 different locations.
And some students will be in a brick and mortar location. Other students could be at home during this process, depending on their situation.
Typically, all students in our traditional model are in a brick and mortar location. We have a number of agreements with community education councils, local high schools, and community centers, and that's where we offer most of our classes. Since COVID came up, we've had to move all of our students home and all of our faculty home. So now our faculty are teaching from home, and our students are learning from home. What you see right now is the screen. So as Leanne is teaching, she can not only just show the students her, but she can also show them information on a screen that supports the kind of things she's trying to teach them.
Let's go back to the video here for a second and see how this wraps up. This is very interesting.
Or is our hypothesis correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it actually weighs less. It looks like the cookie weighs more, and it's one of those ways that we can talk to children about the precision in instruments. This is not as precise as the digital scale. One of the other conversations that we can have with kids is about the idea of change and talking about reversible and irreversible change. Reversible change is if we had an ice cube, we melted it, we can refreeze it. That's a reversible change. Am I ever going to turn this cookie back into dough? No, that would be fun. So that we're not just playing in the kitchen and making chocolate chip cookies, we're actually having good solid assessment data aligned to the Pennsylvania Early Learning Standards. So it's a holistic look at how to make that lesson from just kind of a fun experiment to something that really demonstrates what the children are able to know and do. Have any other questions about this process or how we could do it? All right, good, because homework, you can make a lesson for children. What I'm going to have you do is develop a lesson plan teaching physical science through experiential learning, and you have to have an assessment practice that documents the data for the children so they can show what they know in alignment with those early learning standards. and that's going to be due next week.
Well, unfortunately, now I want chocolate chip cookies. So that's going to be my first stop after this. So that's really amazing. And if you think about what's happening right now in the world and how we've all had to make this transition, NPRC has been way ahead of the curve. And speaking of being way ahead of the curve, that personal touch is not lost at NPRC. And someone who really kind of oversees that with a bunch of different people, you're going to get a really good idea about how big NPRC is right now with Jennifer Cummings-Tutmeyer. So I said all three of your names this time. So Jennifer, you are the Director of Enrollment and Student Success.
That is correct.
Okay, so the word that I love there is success. Let's talk about your job.
Yes, it's very important to us. We understand that a lot of times the students come to us for the very first time, whether they have had dreams of college or it just was an opportunity that fell into their lap. So we want to make sure they're successful, Joe. So we have student success specialists, 6 of them across our footprint, that sit down and meet one-on-one with the students to evaluate what could possibly be a career they would like. Does NPRC have a degree that would serve that? And then help them through their entire process of applying, getting institutional aid to pay for classes, and then also advises them through their career. So it is the person that they go to. They know from the day they start with us to the time they graduate and move on, they have a point person that cares about them, that's invested in them, and then really wants to see them succeed and knows their struggles, their hurdles, and their successes.
And it's nice to have that contact, you know, that physical contact. And again, I think that's really one of the important things here about NPRC is, yes, it's switched to the internet now because of the situation that we're in, but the typical model is that face-to-face thing, and your SSS people, as you refer to them, do that. So let's talk though, if I'm a high school student right now, it's completely different for high school kids. They're having a hard time right now. Could they reach out to NPRC and say, look, my guidance counselor is really backed up right now. Can I talk about this? Could you put them in touch with an SSS?
Absolutely. Our student success specialists are actually meeting with students live through our interactive software that we use for our classes. So we can meet with a student live, evaluate what their needs are to see is an associate degree right for them. And if it's not, we put the student first and we will refer them to a secondary institution that better serves their needs. And
it's not too late. I mean, I realize this all started to happen in March. Most of the students have graduated by now. It's not too late. And I think it's important that we talk to those students right now, or those people that are out of work. I mean, nothing is normal right now, but a high school student should not feel bad contacting you ahead of their guidance counselor. If they have questions, it's okay to reach out, right?
Absolutely. That's what my student success specialists do. They go out into the community. They're going to Rotary clubs. They're going to township and borough meetings. They're trying to reach out to the community leaders and the people in the community, potential students, and the networks for the students to let them know that we're here to answer their questions and to help them through the college process.
You want to meet one?
Absolutely. Why don't we throw some pictures up and introduce my whole team to the entire audience?
And this is the best part to me. This is when you're going to get to see how big NPRC is. Wait till you see the area that these people cover. Take it away.
All right. The first student success specialist is Corey Newcomb. He serves Elk and Cameron counties by going out into the community and meeting people. Next, we have Ms. Jean Morley. She's out there in the rugged Potter and McKean County area. And Danielle Nabinski, she serves Warren County. And the reason she has one county is that she also serves as my assistant director of enrollment and student success, helping to mentor the other student success specialists. I'm super excited to have Marcus McBride on board with my team. He's going to be serving Erie County, as well as our next student success specialist, Tatiana Abreu. These two wonderful individuals will be pounding the pavement in Erie as soon as we're released from this, event we're going through. And finally, I have Juliet Hilburn. She's the student success specialist for Crawford, Forest, and Venango counties, and she is absolutely dynamic.
So you see that area that they cover is enormous.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about a giant footprint. So I don't want people to think this is just Erie or, I mean, it's everywhere.
Exactly. And that's what makes us so unique and so special. Through the model that we use and the technology, we're able to be in that vast area. And we put these live people, these humans that you can shake their hand and meet them and sit down. And so the students have the interaction that they need and want, the support system, and really cultivates a success all the way around.
And like I said, when I introduced you, that I think is the most important part of your title, is that success. And do you mind? I'm going to put Corey Newcomb on the hot seat. He's the newest one. He's brand new.
Well, he's not even the newest. I had Tatiana and Marcus just joined us. So now, with a couple weeks under his belt and having joined us during the COVID event, let's just throw him in the hot seat and see how he handles it.
All right, we're going to go to Corey Newcomb, who is, I don't even know where Corey is actually, but he's joining us remotely, and he's going to tell us about being an SSS. Let's talk about that success, Corey. Tell me what you do.
Well, absolutely. Every day I'm establishing relationships, trying to recruit the students, prospective students, as well as advising our current students and creating a plan for them to get the most success out of their experience here at NPRC, as well as, like Jen said, I'm going out in the community, I'm pushing the brand, I'm meeting with business owners right on Main Street. That's the most unique part of my job, is I'm able to go in, pound the pavement, go into Rotary clubs, go to Chamber of Commerce events, go to county fairs. It doesn't matter. There are no barriers. We will come to find you.
You're marketing the students. I mean, you're out there marketing for the students and saying, hey, we at NPRC have this great group of people who want to work for you. And so that's awesome that you are representing them in all those different parts of the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and how 1 year under your belt, how's it been so far, right?
Oh, yeah. It's been about maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, but no, it's good.
6 weeks, 2 months, okay. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt there.
I've already grown tremendously through NPRC, so I can advise our students and share with them the experience of, hey, we can do the same for you as well. You can grow with us and make all your dreams come true, by getting your associate's degree here at NPRC.
And what's the message to business owners that you convey about the people that attend NPRC? What's the message?
Well, I think the message first and foremost is that we really want to avoid the brain drain here in northern Pennsylvania. We want to keep people home and share with them that the fact that, hey, there's industry here, there are places to work, there's opportunities. And I think that's the first and foremost, is to share with the business owners, what can we do for you? And what can we do to make these communities and these counties in this beautiful region flourish?
Well, everyone's looking for good people, and it sounds like you're representing a whole bunch of them. So thank you very much, Corey, for joining us this afternoon. Do me a favor, if you have any questions right now, go to the email and send them to us. We have been getting questions during the broadcast. So if you have a question, now is the time to email us. We all have our computers in front of us, and we are ready to answer your questions. But I know that Jennifer is handling the email this afternoon here on our live broadcast, and we do have some questions. So let's go, Jennifer, if you don't mind,
all right,
to
Joe.
our first question.
It looks like we have 2 questions coming in here, and I'm going to throw the first one over to Dr. Fleming. Dr. Fleming, this is a question the student success specialists often come up against in the community, and it's that question about accreditation. What does that mean, and where is NPRC in that process?
Yeah. So accreditation is critically important for academic programs. It is not relevant for our workforce development programs. So for the academic programs, regional accreditation is something that we are working toward. That is a very long and arduous process. It takes about 7 to 10 years from the inception of a college to become fully accredited. And it's really a 3-part process. The first part is a pre-application that has to be completed, and then an institution is then either permitted to move into candidacy or not. And then once you've passed the pre-application, then you can apply for candidacy. Once you're in a candidacy phase, you've been approved for that, then you can work toward the full accreditation. So NPRC right now is completed the first stage. We are seeking to apply for candidacy in the very near future, and we hope to have that within about the next year or so. That's important for academic students because once you are fully accredited, your credits are much more transferable to other institutions of higher education.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Fleming. And we have time for a few more questions, I think, correct?
All right.
I'm checking our time. I want to make sure we have time, but we have time for a few more questions. So let's find out what people are asking about NPRC.
That sounds great. Hey, I'm going to fire this next one off to Corey. So Corey, are you ready, sir? We have some viewers who want to know, does it cost money to fill out an application at Northern Pennsylvania Regional College? And how do I apply? Corey, what would you tell those students?
I would tell them absolutely no, there's no cost to apply. And you can contact your local student success specialist as well as apply online through our website.
Wonderful. Thank you, Corey. And
Thank
it
you,
looks
Jen.
like we have a workforce development question coming in.
All right.
Dr. Jackson, hey Eldo, you out there, sir? I have someone who, when you said the word CDL training, trucking popped a huge moment of interest on their screen. Can you please tell this individual where they can get a CDL training?
So currently we have 2 ranges where students can be trained to be commercial truck drivers. We have a range in St. Mary's. We also have a range in Warren, and we're working hard to acquire a site in Erie to offer it there. So right now you can get trained in 2 locations, St. Mary's or Warren.
So again, that's one of those things that we talked about with Dr. Jackson, about one of those industries that is so desperate to find workers. So if you're interested in CDL licensing or driving a truck, I mean, you can almost instantaneously get a job in that field. So, I mean, phenomenal that opportunity exists through NPRC. We still have time for a few more. All right, let's do a few more questions. All right.
All right, I have another one coming in here. I'm going to throw this to Corey again. Corey, I have a student who's concerned about whether or not they have to be a full-time student to take classes with NPRC because they also work. What would your advice be to that individual?
I would say that's who a lot of times we cater towards. The folks, maybe a non-traditional student that wants to come in, maybe further their career in their current career, as well as maybe go in a different route. And we offer a wide range of courses and different times so that we fit their needs. If, you know, people with families, people like you said that are full-time employees somewhere. So yeah, absolutely. We cater to folks and we try to alleviate all barriers in order for them to, you know, further their educational wants and needs.
Thank you, Corey. Joe, it looks like we have another one popping in.
All right, let's talk.
This one's going to come over onto Linda's plate. Dr. Fleming, someone had a question that's related to the accreditation and wanted to know transferring of credits. How does that work, and how do you know if the credits will transfer while NPRC is seeking accreditation?
That's a great question. So what we strongly recommend students do if they are looking to transfer their credits while they're a student here during our accreditation process, we encourage them to reach out to the institution that they plan to transfer to, speak with them, give them the syllabi, talk to them about the program, and make sure that those courses are going to transfer prior to taking the courses.
Awesome, thank you. Corey, you're a popular man. I have a student here who wants to know, do I have to take the SAT or the ACT for admissions? And this is a very good question, Joe, because right now with the pandemic, the SAT tends to be a live test. So there may be students out there who have not taken the SAT. Corey, how would that impact them if they're interested in taking classes with the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College?
It wouldn't impact them at all. We don't require an SAT or an ACT score. I mean, obviously, we'll look that over and share with or show the requirements. But no, you do not need an ACT or SAT score.
Which is very interesting because I think, once again, you guys are blazing the trail there. You're reading more and more that more colleges and universities aren't even looking at those anymore just because they're so unreliable. So again, I think NPRC is again blazing the trail here by saying, you know, we want to educate you, we want to be interested in your success. Let's get to that rather than focus on the past.
That's very true. Yeah. Very true. Dr. Fleming, someone wants to know that during this pandemic, people are concerned about going to a college classroom and being around a lot of people. That seems to be, you know, the talk of the town, and we're seeing different universities responding in different ways. So this person wants to know, do I have to go to a classroom to take classes from the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College this summer and this fall?
So currently, for this summer and for the fall semester, we are planning to deliver all of our classes remotely. We knew that people would be anxious about coming into classes and being around a lot of people, so we made the decision that all of our instructors and all of our students will be taking their classes from the convenience of their own home. And that keeps everybody safe. We don't want to create an environment that puts people at risk.
And going forward, though, the model is different once we get back to the normal thing. I don't want people to think this is just an internet-based college, because it's not.
Correct. We are not an internet. We utilize the internet, but we utilize classrooms where we have groups of students who work together, and that allows us to do projects in the classrooms where students can work on group projects together.
And I think there's also camaraderie, you know, and that fellowship that comes with being together in a classroom. I think a lot of people are experiencing during this pandemic, when they're working at home, they never realized how much they missed that environment where they work. Same with students, you know, not going to the classroom. I mean, look how many of these seniors or college seniors have so much remorse about not being able to graduate or be there for senior skip day or whatever it was. So I think that physical aspect of NPRC is incredibly important. And when we return to that, I want people to know that that exists. So don't think you're just sitting in a room on a computer all day. It's not true.
Exactly. And Joe, something else that speaks to that idea of camaraderie. The student success specialist saw a need for the students and did a spirit week before finals in the spring, and utilized our Facebook page as a place for the students to share photos of themselves dressed as Star Wars characters or in their major colors. And the students really started jockeying with each other. You could see the friendships that had developed. They had never met each other live in a classroom, yet they were on Facebook commenting on each other's posts and telling each other that they were going to have a better costume tomorrow. So it's really amazing to see the connection that people are able to build through the technology we use for classes.
Absolutely, absolutely. A few more, I think, okay, so we're okay. I'd have to keep checking our time because we've only paid for an hour.
Wonderful. I have two questions in here that are interesting. One is an academic-oriented question, and Dr. Fleming, someone is asking if we offer calculus, calculus 2, or calculus 3 classes, or will we offer those in the future?
That is a great question for Mindy.
Oh, I hear that we have, ladies and gentlemen, Mindy Saunders is our Dean of Curriculum and Instruction, and she is one of the most fabulous people I've ever met. And she has a fabulous Southern accent, which you're all going to hear here briefly. Mindy, can you speak to these academic classes and this question?
Yes, absolutely, Jen. Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be with you today, and yes, my accent does come through. My degree is actually in math, so one of my great loves. So currently, we offer quantitative reasoning. We offer college algebra. There are plans for the future to continue to grow naturally to add more courses, and nothing would please me more than to have an entire group of calculus students ready to learn. So hopefully that will be coming very soon as we grow and add courses.
Great. Thank you, Mindy.
Can I tell you that those words have never come out of my mouth? How much I love math, and I'm happy to, I've never spoken those words in
Well,
my
I'll
life.
tell you what, I've learned a lot of math just by having the pleasure of working with Mindy. So, she makes us all, I think, a little bit more smart in the math range.
We had to check out with my kids in 3rd grade.
We have a student wanting to know if we offer human resources classes. And I think, Linda, workforce development has some offerings that tend to lead more towards human resource type things, as we don't have a track for those. Dr. Jackson, would you mind speaking to maybe the supervision classes or the things in workforce development you think would be classified under a human resources type umbrella? Aldo. Hold on one second. Thank you. All right, try again, sir.
We actually have a series of classes in supervision and leadership. We have to use that with some corporate training. So it would lend itself to some human resources training.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aldo. You know what? Somebody sounds on here that this next question, Joe, they're pretty excited about this whole concept of the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College, and they want to know, when are we going to go back to the bricks and mortar location? And when they open up, do I attend all my classes at one location? Linda, when do you think we're going to go back to operating? And that part goes to you, ma'am.
The $1 million question.
Right?
Yeah, the $1 million question. I left my crystal ball at home. So it really is going to depend on what this virus does when we go back to our traditional programming. As I said earlier, we will be on remote through the fall semester. We will see what happens at that point, see what things are going to be looking like in January. We need to know if there's vaccinations in place by then. And we'll be making that decision probably sometime in early November.
Yeah, everybody's very anxious.
That's true.
That's a great
That's
question.
true.
Yeah,
Getting back to some semblance of normalcy is very much desired. Corey, if I were a student and I came to you and said, I took a couple classes at another college, will NPRC accept those credits, and how do we figure that out? What would you tell that student?
I would tell that student that yes, we would accept their credits, but we would also need official transcripts from their previous institution.
Absolutely. And I think that with transfer credits, one of the things that's very important is to make sure that those credits line up with the class that NPRC offers. So we do have an amazing registrar by the name of Lori McNeil, who works in conjunction with Mindy to evaluate those transcripts, make sure that the classes parallel each other, and that we're giving the correct credits on the academic level for those.
Yeah, because some people start and become undecided or want to change halfway through. So there's so many variables once you start down the course of higher education that can impact whether you stay or go.
Absolutely. And one of the most amazing parts of Northern Pennsylvania Regional College is that we're in the community. So if you went off to college, got partly into a major, and some life circumstance required you to return home, Northern Pennsylvania Regional College can take those credits, transfer them in, and help you achieve an associate degree. So they're not just hanging out there. So you can kind of have closure and then proceed on.
And the other thing is, if someone needs to return home to Erie County, if they've been away at college and they need to return home because of, like you said, family circumstances or unforeseen circumstances, those credits that they got from another school are not wasted.
Absolutely. And there's nothing worse than feeling like you put a lot of time and effort and money. Money's so important, you know, when in a time like this, to be able to recover that.
Right.
And then to start back in. And one of the amazing parts that we haven't really talked about at Northern Pennsylvania Regional College is that we understand that people are starting at different stages of their life. So we offer what's termed co-curricular, and so we try not to use words that people don't understand, but what that means is that when you come in, for instance, with our introductory English class that everyone needs to take, our college writing, we offer and pair it with a reading and writing class that are supporting that so that you can bridge that gap. We had a parent, when we were doing our pilot program, coming back to college for the first time and was very concerned and said, I can't fail. I have students who, my children are seeing me do this. I can't fail. And at Northern Pennsylvania Regional College, we have a lot of mechanisms in place to make sure that if the student puts in the effort, because it has to be student driven, we can't make someone get a degree, but we can help them acquire the tools to be successful. So we put all the tools in place, from tutoring services to counseling services and connections into the community. It's that combination with our very, very skilled faculty and student success specialists that help support the students in their drive to earn a degree.
Well, before we went on the air, we talked, Linda and I were talking about how many people in the workforce have lost their jobs. And if you think about some of those people, the last time they were in an educational setting, I mean, to go back, just the fear alone to go back to school is so overwhelming. So to be able to have those introductory courses, because I hear my son use the word rubric. I have no idea what he's talking about because it's been a long time since I was in school. So to have those introductory courses to try and eliminate that fear and refamiliarize them with how it works that's the ticket.
Exactly.
The other thing that I'll toss into this is with the co-curricular courses, we do not provide remedial courses. Oftentimes what happens is students who come in and they need additional support go into remedial courses and they never get out of them and they never proceed. So instead of doing that, we've created the co-curricular courses as Jen described, so that students go right into their academic programming, they get the support that they need while they're in that course, they get those credits, and then they can move on to the rest of their programming.
Yeah, it's nice to have that support because, again, you're not just thrown into the fire and say, here are your classes, good luck. So, and again, back to your job title, success. I think that's one of the main things that we can take away from today's live broadcast is success. And I just want to make sure that people understand it's 9 counties big. I mean, it's not just Erie, it's not just Edinburgh. You guys are 9 counties big. The footprint of this college is just remarkable. And Facebook is worldwide. So I know we're reaching these 9 counties. So don't just think if you live in Erie, this is for you. I know a lot of people have talked about the Erie Community College. You guys are so much bigger than just Erie. You cover all of those 9 counties.
Yeah, our footprint is actually the size of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and half of Maryland.
See,
that's the geographic area that we cover.
That's why we brought Linda. That I understand. Can we do a couple more? One more question? Okay, we have one more question. Maybe 2. All right.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. We talked about money a little bit earlier, Joe.
Okay.
And somebody has a question and wants to know financial aid. How do I apply for financial aid if I want to attend Northern Pennsylvania Regional College? Corey, you still with me, buddy? Because this is a question that students come to you with. How do I pay for college?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we would do is just like anything else, we would go through any resources within their community with the student and share and look for scholarships, grants available maybe through their alma mater, service clubs, as well as institutional aid that we provide within the institution that they can apply for to lower the cost as best they can so that they can alleviate the stress of the financial end. And that's one of the many benefits or advantages we have, is that we'll go the extra mile to find every penny we can for the student.
That's exactly right. On top of the fact that the classes at Northern Pennsylvania Regional College are extremely affordable.
Yeah.
It coupled together with that personal touch of helping the students navigate, in addition to all of the resources, it's a phenomenal combination.
And that's the number 2 concern with people. First is their health. Number 2 is their financial situation. So knowing that it's affordable and knowing that you can get financial aid, I think, is a huge aspect of NPRC. I think we going to one more. Tell me one more question. All right.
All right. Corey, I'm coming back to you, buddy.
Corey's working overtime.
This is his forte, and I'm grilling him. I'm seeing how good he is when I release him out in the community, right? All right. Corey, somebody's concerned, how do I know what classes to take? How do I pick them? What's that whole process look like?
Right. So what we would do is, go through the course requirements in the major of their choice. I've done it. I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks here, advising students for the summer and fall. And basically what we do is we just take a look at the course requirements and go through their graduation audit and try to pick the best courses for them so that they're not taking like maybe any other institution taking courses that they just don't need. And that's the advantage of having somebody like myself or my other colleagues. We're right there step by step, providing the knowledge so that they aren't taking courses they don't need.
That's exactly right, Corey. And the other and very important thing to point out is that you said that you are helping students pick their classes right now. We are actively taking admissions and enrolling students for summer and fall. So if you're interested and you're seeing this, jump on, apply online. It just takes a few moments. You don't have to you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to have an ACT score or anything like that. Get on, fill out that application because we can have you taking classes right away. There's no reason to delay.
And again, I think that's a lot of what people are thinking about right now is how do I go through this process because everything is not normal. So it's so easy and so clean at the website. So again, thank you for all of your questions. And Linda and Jennifer, thank you very much. You guys had to do a lot of heavy lifting today. So I'm glad you were here to help.
It's pretty fun though.
It
was
is
worth
fun.
it.
All right, good.
Definitely.
Well, we started with the president of the college and you begin with the big guy and you end with the big guy. So Dr. Nairn, we're gonna let you wrap it up this afternoon. And then we have a nice commercial we're going to show everyone after your comments. Sir?
Well, thank you very much, Joe. A few times in this conversation, the notion of bricks and mortar has come up, and I did want to address the fact we don't have a bricks and mortar campus. That's not part of the NPRC model. And actually, we partner with a lot of community organizations. We have tremendous partnerships with our community education centers throughout the region, with career and technical centers, with schools. We have a wonderful partnership with our libraries. And so our instructional sites are not our own. And part of the talking about the affordability, you're going to see a lot of accessible, affordable, and achievable in talking about NPRC. The student success specialists are definitely a huge part of that achievability. The accessibility we've addressed with, we don't have test scores, we don't ask for entrance exams. We're here for anyone who wants to go back to school and is willing to give that a shot. The affordability, a great deal of it comes with the fact that we keep our overhead low by not having the infrastructure that many other traditional colleges have. We were able to pivot, as I said earlier, and get into the remote delivery with faculty who were prepared for it and students who were ready to do that. Many of our other peer institutions have empty facilities that have to be heated, maintained. There's costs that are associated with that. We're very fortunate to be partnered with others that provide us with that kind of infrastructure. And so if you want to look at the community aspect of it, we're bringing rents into the places where we're using facilities. We have unutilized or underutilized facilities in some of these municipalities. And we've partnered with our community education centers who are just terrific partners for us in delivering education. As Jennifer said, we're open for business. We are accepting students right now for summer and fall. I invite everyone to reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email, get on the chat bot, however you want to get your information. We look forward to working with you and we look forward to your success. Thank you.
Dr. Nairn, thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you, albeit remotely. But I hope we can do this again and learn more about NPRC. But it's funny, when you were talking, I thought about the same things. At the other institutions, somebody's got to cut the grass. Somebody's got to heat that building. Somebody's got to take care of it. Your model for business is phenomenal. And not only is it a good model for you, but like you said, you're helping communities by paying rent, taking up empty spaces, and doing a lot of good for commercial landlords who I'm sure are very appreciative for NPRC. So we had a lot of people on today. I want to thank everyone for joining us today as well, especially, like I said, Linda and Jennifer in the studio, and everyone who, there they are. Say hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. You guys were awesome. I learned so much today about NPRC from all of you, so I personally want to thank you. And if you want to learn more about NPRC, it is so easy. You can just, first of all, if you Google NPRC, it's right there. So if you Google NPRC, I did it this morning. It comes right up and you'll have all the information you need. If you want to pick up the phone, you can do that too. Their phone number is 814-230-9012. We're going to put all of that on the screen for you. They have a toll-free number too at 844-350-7729. And of course, there is the website and the email for you. So again, don't not react. I'm trying to think of a way to put that. Make sure you reach out. If this is something that is interesting to you, there's so many options here that I guarantee you there's probably one for you. So again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope you learned a lot about NPRC. I certainly did. And hopefully we can do this again and keep the questions coming. We'll get answers to you. Thanks again for joining us.
Even in uncertain times, there's always opportunity. At Northern Pennsylvania Regional College, we provide the training you need for the jobs of today and the future. We give you a direction that you can afford, a map that shows you how to get there, and the constant support you need to succeed. Right now, you can earn your industry credential as a commercial truck driver, communication line worker, child development associate, emergency medical technician, powder metal manufacturing, precision machining, industrial maintenance, and wastewater treatment. Enroll now at regionalcollegepa.org. Northern Pennsylvania Regional College. Affordable, accessible, and definitely achievable.